Okay, just to finish then, we're going to just finish with 4 top tips that we have for writing your bread and butter emails. Firstly, just stop overthinking about it and become the person who sends emails. We have talked a lot, and we can continue to. We're holding you with love and compassion if this is still freaking you out that you have to send emails to your list. But really, can we just create a deadline? Can you come into the group? Can you share with us, I'm going to send this email, I've written it, I'm sending it on this day. Obviously, also, scheduling tools are fabulous for that. You can write it and schedule it and then go away, and you don't even know that it's gone out, unless you, I don't know, made a mental note of when it is. Sometimes I really enjoy doing that and open and go like, oh yeah, that email went out. Oh, that was nice. Oh, I'd forgotten that was already scheduled. So that really takes that kind of immediate, like, ooh, I'm annoying people and dropping in their inboxes today. If you schedule it, that feels great. So you do know what you want to say, just write it and send it. Or like I said, schedule it and run. Just whatever makes you feel good. Focus on the ideal client and who is going to be receiving it, even if they're not on the list yet, even if, oh, it's only my dad and my dog and my granddad that are on my list. Like, creating the content for that person that you want to be signing up, create it for them, trusting and knowing that they are going to love it, and just become that person. That's what I do. That's who I am in my business. That's how I show up. That's what I do. That's what I send. And that is literally what James Clear's done. And now he's got 2 million subscribers.
It all comes back to that whole mission statement manifesto piece of who you want to be and how you want to show up in your business again. So tip number 2, set a goal for the frequency of your bread and butter regular emails based on your worst day. This is such a good one, Vicky. Yes, we know you're really excited, and you're probably going to set yourself this really ambitious, yes, no, I am absolutely going to do this on a daily basis. But this needs to be something that you can maintain. And we want to set you up for success. So if you think you can commit to this daily, start weekly. If you think you can commit to this weekly, start fortnightly. If you think you can commit to this fortnightly, start with monthly, because life happens and momentum can wane a little bit once the initial fizz is worn out, particularly if you're not getting that dopamine hit as well and getting that immediate sort of response thing. So in order to show up regularly and consistently, let's create the conditions for us to do that in a way that doesn't then leave us feeling deflated.
Yeah. And really, again, it's that becoming thing about you are becoming this person. So if you can prove to yourself, I've done this on a regular basis now for 3 months, for 6 months, for 12 months, then you can absolutely play around with it, add some more, change things up, put some more emails in there. That's all available to you. But become the person first that you can rely on. You're like, every single fortnight, this is what I do. This is just what I share my blog, or I write my newsletter, and that's how you do it. That's how you show up, and that's who you become. This is a tip, I think, for everywhere, but certainly for email as well, to keep making sure you break up the content and always include a call to action. And you will hear us say that across all 3 of the formats that we're talking about on this course. So these 2 things are really important. Always giving ample spacing. And I know it feels a bit like not very good English, where we've been taught at school to write in a particular way and when paragraph breaks should be happening. Throw all of that out of the window when we're writing for digital content, I would say. Like, if you really think about, a lot of people might be reading their emails on mobile or smaller screens, tablets and things. If you are writing 3, 4, 5, 6 sentences and you haven't got paragraph break in there, it starts to look like a big, large chunk of text, which sometimes people will not read or will skim read. So they're more likely to read it if we can break it up, give them lots of paragraph breaks in there. And always adding a call to action. What do you want them to do when they have finished that email? Is it a question? Is it an invitation? What do you want them to do after reading it? So a few examples there. Have you enjoyed this email? Forward it to a friend. Or what do you think of this topic? Hit reply and let me know. Or do you want to know more about how I do this? Here, click here to find out more about working with me. I don't feel that's sales in the same way. I feel like that's quite a nice way of just inviting them on to do the next thing. But find something, or never finish off an email without asking them to do something.
my particular one, my particular bugbear, I suppose, is not forgetting the power of the subject line. Now, that's not to say you start with the subject line, but your story that's arriving in people's inboxes starts from the subject line in terms of their experience of it. And obviously, we're not just writing these emails purely for joy. We want people to open them. So people have lots and lots of emails to filter through. Think about your own inbox. We need to get to the point and grab their attention quickly. So MailerLite provides, which is what we both use, has great tips for how to do this. Summary.
They've got a little article, so I'll pop the link below as well if you want to read this, because we were just saying this could be 6 hours worth of content just on its own about the power of a subject line and a good subject line.
Yeah, and we know that it's something that people can get fixated on. So it is not the be all and end all. You can have a simple subject line of edition number 212 of the newsletter featuring planes, trains, and automobiles. It really doesn't need to be war and peace, but ideally it is based around your ideal client, what's going on for them, and is going to draw them in some way. So MailerLite's tips in summary are: make it relevant, use questions, keep it short, particularly with that mobile users thing in mind, use numbers and lists, and avoid caps or too many exclamation points, or you'll get marked as spam. Spam filters are fairly aggressive and we don't want to end up there. And there is a bonus tip in this one, which is checking your pre-header. So this is like a little preview of your email. It's another way of enticing the reader in. So make sure yours isn't just view in browser like Vicky's was for years. And actually I might be guilty of that one myself.
I know. And this was something, again, an email strategist pointed out to me. She was like, you're missing this whole pre-header thing. So my emails, I might have picked a brilliant catchy title, but what you can see on mobile, or even if you're on email browsers on your or email software on your computer, on your desktop, will show you what effectively looks like the first line of the email, kind of a little preview of what is inside. And mine, for the first 3 years of my business, just said view in browser. That was doing me absolutely a total disservice. So I've really focused in on that now, making sure that is, if you feel like you can't squeeze it all into just the header, just the subject, it's another chance for you to expand or use a different angle or a different way to get them to actually click and open and pique their interest in there as well. But like we said, there's a few tips that MailerLite has shared in the article below if you want to dive into this, because we could talk about subjects for many hours as well. Okay, so what we want you to do is stop listening to us and do some writing. Well, first off, we want you to choose which of these bread and butter formats you are going to commit to. So which camp are you in? Which hat are you wearing? Whichever metaphor you want to go with. Are you going to be doing regular blogs, blog shares? Are you going to be creating a regular newsletter? Are you going to be sharing your musings on a consistent basis? Or are you going to be dropping into your mailing list inbox with some tips reliably for them? So which of these formats are you going to commit to? I feel like you probably know, but if you need to pause us and have a think about it, or have a look at a few examples of people's, again, not for comparison, not for, oh my God, mine will never look as good as that, but you want to have a look at some other examples, the ones that you like and enjoy in your own inbox, feel free to take the time now to have a look at that. Then we want you to do a big brain dump. 20 different ideas for whichever format you have just chosen for your emails. And then you can pick out the 3 strongest ones, or the ones that most excite you, the ones that you're like, yeah, I could definitely write that. Obviously, this is different if you've done blogs. We just want you writing blogs and then sharing the blogs. But if you are going with one of the other 3 options, coming up with lots of different ideas. If you're doing newsletters, what are your sections going to be called? What ideas have you got of content to put in there? Which tips or musings are you going to be talking about? And then picking 3. And then let's get started. Just pick one of them, the one that excites you the most, the one that you want to get writing, and write one of these bread and butter emails. And we would love to see it. We would really love to see it. You don't have to send it straight away if you want us to have a look at it in a Google Drive first, or just mock it up as if it's ready to go, but you haven't actually pressed send. Or even if you have pressed send, fabulous. Let's have a look afterwards and we can give you some feedback and some thoughts. So that is mailing list part 1, the bread and butter regulars. We have covered creating the right headspace for your writing, why you should have a mailing list, how to create and center your content in your mailing list and start here, what to be sending to your list and how to write it, the 4 different example formats that we've given you, and we have shared some top tips for writing your emails. Thank you very much. We will see you again next week.